North Carolina saw a significant turnout before we even got to Election Day. Nearly 30% of registered voters in North Carolina voted early or absentee.
Joining us now to talk about that turnout is UNC Associate Professor Dr. Joe Czabovsky. Thank you for joining us. Joe, we saw 2.1 million people vote early. We are seeing a 60% turnout in Wake County alone. Are you surprised by that?
No, not at all. At least we're comparable to 2018. We're still waiting on the same day vote. And that's the big question, as we're waiting on all these races. I think statewide, you can also expect that we might have, if it's a normal same day turnout, 700,000 votes yet. And that's why all these races have a long way to go at this hour.
We've had great weather, really. If you got to vote, this is the kind of weather you want to stand in line if you have to stand in line. Do you think just the climate and the fact that we're beyond the pandemic may have led to the big numbers of people showing up on Election Day?
Yeah, and it also is why it's really difficult to compare this to 2018, in more of a blue wave year, but especially 2020. We had massive turnout in 2020, but we also have to remember that it was a pandemic. And this year, we could look at those trends, and they're holding overall, but we're not sure yet until that same day vote comes in.
Anything specific you're watching tonight?
Yeah, I'll give you three quick things. Again, we have probably 700,000 votes yet. If turnout was high today, it could be 1 million. That could change all of these races. I think what's interesting so far is, if Ted Budd, who's now pulled ahead by a couple points, if that holds, the Supreme Court candidates for Republicans are running actually just a little bit ahead. And so use kind of the Senate as a barometer, but that could definitely change the Supreme Court here. The other thing I think is really interesting right now is don't just look at the county level. We keep talking about how Wake is out, and it's still out, but there are a lot of precincts that are very Republican friendly within Wake. But I also want to note, especially in that NC 13 race, Johnson County is got a long way to go. And that's why the Nickel campaign and the Hines campaign at this hour are sweating it, if you will.
Yeah, I'm looking at the big board, 31% reporting so far. So like you said, a long way to go.
Yeah. UNC Associate Professor Dr. Joe Czabovsky, we appreciate you taking time on this night to join us.
Thanks.